Dagnabbit, you ruined the sign! How are they gonna read it now? Welcome back, my little lambs, for more Bionic Commando fun. We had to start from an earlier checkpoint, so it was a few minutes back, but here we are, back at where we were fighting that mech at the end of the last video, so we'll be able to get past him and the enemies, and then we're going to keep on exploring this building that we're in, and seeing where we need to go next, so let's get right to it. Now, we have an active challenge where we're supposed to finish off a biomech using one of our special finisher moves. I would have thought that would have counted, but apparently it didn't, because we didn't get a notification pop up in the lower corner that the challenge has been completed. And then later on, when I get a chance to sit there and stop and check for active challenges to see what we might be able to complete, it still shows as not completed. So I'm not quite sure how we're supposed to finish that challenge.
Minefield number V17 deactivated. Standing by.
So our waypoint marker is telling us to go back the way we came, but it seems like it kind of glitched out because we start following it, a new one pops up, but then the old one is still there, making it look like we have to run back. I'm not quite sure what happened, but eventually we figure out, yeah, we're supposed to go all the way back where we came. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here to take a look at some of the challenges that we've got. Like I said, there's a challenge that if we take out one of those mechs using a finisher move, we should be able to get it unlocked, but for some reason it didn't seem to work. There's a couple other challenges I know that are active at the moment, and some of the rewards I think are weapons upgrades and armor upgrades. Armor is definitely something we might want to try and see if we can complete those challenges for, because the enemy's definitely been hitting us pretty darn hard. That's one of the pros and I think cons about the way they've done the challenges in this game so far. It's a great way for getting rewards, but unless you're specifically focusing on trying to complete those challenges, you're not going to be able to get the upgrades. And I think if you're trying to focus on completing those challenges, it causes you to do too much side questing rather than just progressing along with the main story. Well, this time I think the game tricked me. I probably should have gone ahead and kept that grenade launcher rather than switching out for a shotgun. One thing I've noticed is that usually when it drops a new weapon to you, that's definitely going to be something that you are probably going to need in the new area you're moving into, or the area that you're trying to fight in at the moment. You know, remember in the last video I was fighting off a bunch of mechs and a weapon pod dropped and I just didn't pay attention to it, and it ended up being a grenade launcher, which would have made it a lot easier to take out those mechs. So now it looks like we're going back down into a giant hole. The game can't seem to make up its mind. Are we above ground or are we below ground?
What is that thing?
Well, it kinda looked like to me it was some sort of giant dick penetrating its way through the bowels of the earth.
Finally some peace and quiet.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for your enjoyment, we have a lovely sniper's nest that we have popped up into now that we've come back out of the ground. And this is going to be a little bit of a tricky situation. Luckily, there's a weapons drop pod with a sniper rifle that we can get to if we can find it on the map. And that might make things a little bit easier. Or you can just try and sneak around and climb your way up the sides of the hills that the snipers are hidden on and take them out that way. after taking out all those snipers and making our way to the top of this building, we've come to another hacking relay. So we'll clear out the enemies and then find out what information is in it and see where we need to go from there. So now we've gotten a piece of the clue to Nathan's missing wife. According to a police investigation, she left a note saying that she was leaving her husband, but Nathan says her leaving a note was not the way she would have expressed herself, and apparently there were some eyewitnesses that claim there was a bit of a fight going on the previous week before. So, was there trouble in paradise, or was this some sort of setup? Apparently, from what we know of the story, Mrs. Spencer was never seen again, which seems kind of strange. You would think if she had other family or something, she would have been in contact with them, but to completely disappear and not want to have any contact with the one person that she was close to does seem kind of strange.
Who is this? How did you access this line?
I'm just another soldier in the line of fire.
You should evacuate the area, soldier. The enemy's playing for keeps, and you don't have the right tools for the job.
Oh, I assure you, Major, I have the perfect tools for the job. I contacted you to scratch an itch. What are you doing here? The government betrayed you and your kind. Yet here you are fighting for them.
Cut the bullshit. Sounds like you already know.
You're the one who's in over your head, Major. You may discover some things you were not prepared for. Good luck.
Feels like I'm being played.
Okay, so our comm line has been hacked by an unknown friend or most likely a foe, and it appears they might be trying to use some psychological warfare to distract us by telling us if we keep pushing along with our mission that we may find out things that we don't like. They're questioning our allegiance as to why would we be fighting for the same government that tried to have us killed. This is going to be interesting to see how much more information and how many more times they try and contact us. It looks like we've got to get up this hill here, though, and as you saw, there's a little bit of a radiation area that we have to try and avoid, so this might be a little bit tricky.
That must have hurt!
So, in addition to more of Nathan's background story, we've learned that apparently some sort of piece of equipment the enemy is using has what is most likely a weak spot, because it talks about protecting something, and so this is most likely going to be a clue to whatever we come across, how we're going to have to defeat it. Is it that giant thing we saw burrowing in the ground? Or is it that giant thing that we saw walking in the previous video? We'll have to find out. Okay, so we're going to take another quick break and check our challenges and rewards and see what we've managed to complete. I think we got at least 1 or 2 done. And we're also going to start getting ready for this being the end of the video, because we're over the 20-minute mark. So far, I would say this has been an interesting part of the video series. We've learned some interesting things about ourselves, the Bionic Commando. We're learning some more about the enemy. We've got a new friend or foe now that is trying to contact us. The story to this game is definitely pretty darn good. That is definitely one of the things that I will give this game high marks for. They took some really good time in crafting the story. Some of the things that I think are bad is the controls. A good portion of that, though, can just be me fat-thumbing buttons. I think some of it is definitely a user error on my part, but then there's other times that, you know, I'm pressing all the buttons and everything's just working perfectly. So who can really say? I'm still, as much as I may complain or point out things that I don't like, overall, this is definitely a fun game. I am definitely enjoying it. So thank you so much for watching, my little lambs, and I hope to see you again next time in the Digital Wonderlands.